G'day everyone. This is an episode I've been looking forward to for a very long time. Today, I'm going to tell you the number one hotspot to invest in Australia. To me, this episode is going to blow this wide open. Like I said, I feel like I've been sitting on a mountain of knowledge. Whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing. Put your pen down. I really want you to focus because as I take you through this deep dive on this hotspot, you are going to come on a journey and go, this is absolutely where I need to be investing in right now if you want the best return on your investment. Look, as a mortgage broker, I have got to say I've got the best seat in the house. And let me tell you why. I get to see exactly where everyone's buying. I get to see exactly what everyone's buying. How much under market, how their portfolio is performing. I get to see a range of buyers, whether that's first-home buyers, investors, self-managed super funds, for example, people that have been able to scale portfolios. And so my view of the world is very skewed to people that are obviously buying and growing their portfolios. But I have to say, without any ego in this, I literally have the best seat in the house. If you think about a buyer's agent, with all due respect, they're seeing their clients, they're buying particular locations. That's their view of the world. Accountants usually deal with clients, self-employed, typically, I'd say, and varying degrees of businesses there. Financial planners, again, are working with a certain type of client. But from us, we get to see a whole range, a whole gamut of buyers. And that's why I feel like, yes, we have an unfair advantage as mortgage brokers that we get to see the people particularly start their journey, who's entering the market, where they're looking to buy, and how they are going to continue to purchase as well. So come on the journey with me today. Like I said, I'm going to unpack the number one hotspot in the country. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly the next steps to take to really add fuel to the fire for your investment property portfolio. So let me take you through the boom location and where I'm talking about. This is the number one area in Australia where you are guaranteed a return on investment. I don't think there's many buyer's agents or property research or data or CoreLogic reports that are actually talking about this location. Yeah, I'm putting that on the record. To me, the most successful investors are doubling down on this location. A little bit of work on this area or this region, a little bit of work on this asset will give you an enormous return on investment. I'm talking both capital growth, I'm talking both cash flow here. Like I said, you'll be blown away once I tell you where this location is. It'll be a no-brainer. You'll probably even kick yourself when I tell you. So I hope you got a pen and paper ready. The area and location I'm talking about is the real estate between your ears. Yep. I'm talking about your mindset. Some of you may switch off at this point going, you're waiting for a silver bullet. You're waiting for a secret location, for example. I'm telling you, hands down, the best investors that we have seen, the best work that I have done is working on my mindset, working on my psychology, working on my self-belief, working on my personal development. And when I say working, it's a work in progress. And I'll tell you why. As you continue to grow in your journey, new levels, new devils is something that's going to come up a lot in this episode as well. I feel like as you continue to do the work, you'll continue to be challenged. As you continue to grow and scale your portfolio, you'll continue to be challenged as well. So understanding and acknowledging that is par for the course as well. So what I've done is I've created a 10-point plan today to take you through on the journey about how to invest in yourself and how to get the best return on that investment. So this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be a challenge for a lot of people. This is maybe going to hold up a mirror to yourself and going, look, you're doing a lot of finger pointing, for example. And what they say is when you point one finger that way, there's 3 or 4 fingers pointing back this way as well. And that's why I say this journey is all about being comfortable in your own skin and really testing your ability to push through and own your financial future. Let me start with a question. If your car broke down tomorrow and it needed, I don't know, let's call it $2,000 worth of essential repairs, at that point, it's not even a question. It's like you got to find the money. You need your car repaired as well. But if you were posed with a great opportunity of self-development for $2,000, you'd probably think twice about it. You'd and ah over it. You'd maybe even just not do it. And you go, right, I've got other things that I should be spending on. But how important is you as your greatest income producing asset to keep essential repairs, maintenance going as well, continue to develop yourself as opposed to a car. And I've said this time and time again, a car is a depreciating liability. You are your best income producing asset. And look, this episode may feel a little bit woo for some people. I've got to tell you, when you go deep on working on yourself, like I said, the sky's the limit. The return on investment is absolutely significant, and you level up yourself, and you're going to find a way that you bring other people on the journey, or you may outgrow some people as well. So this brings me to my first point, which is growth comes from discomfort. Recently, I had the opportunity to travel around the country with two incredible brokers. So 3 brokers. We ran around the country with our industry body, the Finance Brokers Association of Australia, presenting to hundreds, probably over 1,000 brokers nationally across each of the states as well. It's an incredible opportunity for me. Look, whenever I share anything about my own journey, please, there's no ego, there's no flex in this, for example. I'm just being open about my journey. So I hope that comes across in the right vein. But as I was going around, my number one slide to all brokers was, growth comes from discomfort. When you push yourself outside your comfort zone, that's where you're going to get the best growth. And whether that's in, say, mortgage broking, or whether that's in property investing, whether that's in sport, or whether that's training for yourself, or whether that's, raising a family and being the best parent that you can, for example, or even in a relationship, when things get a little bit uncomfortable is when you grow, when you generally take things to a new level and you break through and push through a barrier. That's where you get that next level of growth. And I think for me, having seen, like, obviously our business has grown, but having seen a lot of brokers that are stuck in their business, I just thought, look, I don't lack emotional intelligence. I'm like, guys, this is what you need to do. You need to get punched, get knocked down, get back up again, punched, get knocked down, get back up again. And it really is a test of who's got the ability to get punched and get back up every single day, because things will not go your way. And there's so many things that can go wrong and will go wrong investing in property. There's so many things that can and will go wrong, whether that's you in your role in the PAYG, or if you're self-employed as well. And it really is a matter of who has got that ability to get up and keep going and keep their eyes on the prize, which is a long-term journey as well. No one is coming to save you. And I think that's one thing that Bernadette and I have spoken a lot about, which is that's not a jaded mentality. That's just an honest adult mentality to go, no one is coming to save me. We're not relying on a bank of mum and dad, for example. If we want this for ourselves and we want it bad enough, then we've got to put ourselves in the driving seat to take control of our financial future as well. I've got to pay homage. I have a great personal coach, Jody. I would have mentioned this as well in previous episodes. Done a lot of work, a lot of like deep level work on getting uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, maybe looking at patterns that weren't serving me or behaviors that weren't serving me. I've now also got a men's group that I've joined as well. I think there's some solidarity and brotherhood and some shared pain and some shared insights as well. And I feel like having joined the right communities, having committed myself to personal development, professional development as well, I'm really seeing the fruits of that labor. I'm continuing. I'm a work in progress. It's not perfection, but it's progress. And I think that's where I'm really starting to see the needle move in my own life as well. I want to shout out a book, and our team at Atelier Wealth is reading this. Mindset is an absolute cracking book. It's a really good entry-level book. So if you feel like 7 Habits is probably maybe a little bit dated, even though I don't think it is, but you're looking for something fresh, I'd say I'd pick up a copy of this book, Mindset. And really it's the separation between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And I feel like this is a really good starting point for a lot of people that are trying to level up in their personal journey as well. So grab a copy of that. The second point is the long way is the shortcut. There are no shortcuts to success. Let me give you an example of this. Many, many years ago, probably at the start of the journey in when I started Atelier Wealth, I enrolled for, it was a 6-hour commando tough event held in the Sutherland Shire in Sydney, run by these guys that were ex-SAS. It was a boot camp, and I thought, I'm just going to try this. I don't mind a good fitness challenge, for example. I did a few of the Spartan runs and really got, sunk my teeth into those. And I thought this might be a good immersive experience. And as part of that, they mentally break you down. Obviously, these guys are SAS trained, so they've got the master of the dark arts when it comes to breaking you down mentally. And I'll never forget it. We had to go up these sand dunes, and as we're going up and down the sand dunes, you got to fill the bag up withstand and carry it all the way up. And as I was doing that, I probably filled my bag up to probably about 70% of the way through just to make it easy to carry. And one of the guys said, "Hey, mate, why didn't you fill your bag up to the top?" And it wasn't a question, it was a statement. And he says, "How you do anything is how you do everything." He's like, "You're looking for shortcuts in life. That's all you're going to get." And I may be drawing an example out of this, but to me, it's something that's stuck with me and resonated. Going, don't take the shortcut. And you may have done this in the past where you're trying to maybe navigate a street and you take a shortcut. You don't know where you're going, and it ends up becoming longer route than what you should have done. It was just stick to the normal path that you're stuck on. And I see this time and time again with a lot of investors. They're looking for the shortcut. They're looking for the silver bullet. They're looking for the hotspot. They're looking to buy through the trust. They're looking to go, mate, this is where my friends are investing and this is what my research has told me. And they know there should be a tried and tested formula that comes with investing in property, a little bit set and forget to some point, still growing the portfolio, but they're still committed to going to the hard path as well. So I'm imploring to you going, there is no shortcut. I've seen so many investors' portfolios that have grown and scaled. There just simply is no shortcut. And again, the book Mindset will talk a lot about this around, if you're going to be an investor, you got to think like an investor, you got to act like an investor, you got to do what investors do. For example, walk the path and don't look for a shortcut is going to be my suggestion to you there. The third point is, again, this is something that came up in my, when I was delivering my keynote as well around the country, which is you can't be what you can't see. I'm just going to say that again. You can't be what you can't see. There is so much value that comes out of being around people that have been there, done that, or who are on the journey to raise you and lift you up along the way and give you some exposure to success. Yeah, we always say success leaves clues. Think about it. If I'm trying to tell my kids to be the best version of themselves, to eat healthy, to not take no for an answer, but I'm not living and breathing it myself, you can see that the math isn't mathing here, for example. And this probably happens a lot in people's lives where they're saying one thing, but they're doing another. And I'm a big believer in hanging around A graders. And look, I was fortunate to play cricket for many years. I wasn't the best, but we played a decent level. Let's call it like A grade. I don't know. But imagine I hung around D grade players. That's all I would get. There'd be no training. There'd be no investment into the equipment, for example. We're playing on terrible fields versus when you go up in life and you elevate, you play on better fields, you have better quality competition, the umpires are better, like the equipment is incredible. I'm just saying, for where you are in your journey, if you can't see what you're trying to achieve in a network or a peer group, you probably need to find some peers that are going to raise your standards. Let me just give you a very good example of this. Again, this is no flex in this conversation. I, as part of when I toured the country, was very fortunate to have dinner at Emile Jurassic's house. Now, if you're not familiar with Emile Jurassic, just do a quick Google search and you'll see what comes up. His house is worth probably about $28 million up in Brisbane. I'm blown away. Like, I probably have never been to a house this incredible. And we've sat down for dinner at his house with an ex-master chef as his personal chef in his house. There's a fully fitted out commercial gym with a sauna, steam room, cold plunge pool as well, which is incredible. Then you go into the garage and he's not doing any of this to show off. He's just doing this to show, look, this is what he's capable of doing. In the garage is 2 Lamborghinis. Now, that's not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. But you're sitting here going, man, I've never come across someone that's this incredibly successful, this incredibly wealthy. And I saw that going, this is what's possible. I'll tell you why. Because here's a guy that was a refugee that grew up in housing commission, and through working hard and through property has completely rewritten his entire future, literally by taking action. And just being around the conversation with Emile and hearing what he's done, when I've researched him even before that, and he's got no money for petrol, $18 for petrol. He and his partner, his wife, don't have the money for that. And look where they've come to now. Like, I'm so fortunate to have been around that energy, because anything is possible at that point. You've just got to put your heart and your mind to it as well. And I genuinely feel like the power of community, whether that's accountability and ownership that comes with being around the right peer group. Circle back to the point at the start, which I said is you can't be what you can't see. Point number 4, and this is something that I tell myself constantly, is something I tell my team as well. Pressure is a privilege. I'll just say that again. Pressure is a privilege. Point 1, I said growth comes from discomfort. This is about really embracing challenges. This is not going to be easy. When you talk about investing in property, if you literally wrote down everything that could go wrong, interest rates go up, tenants trash the property, cyclone comes through and destroys the property, flood damage, water damage, issues with neighbors, for example, property needs maintenance work. You could literally write down so many more things that may go wrong as opposed to so many things go right. Property goes up in value, income goes up. There's literally it's what we're trying to stack the deck to buy investment properties for. But when you look at the risks, it's going, hang on, is this actually making any sense? But we know we've got to take action. And this is where I say what you're signing yourself up for is that pressure is a privilege. The problems that you're going to face are not common problems. If you think about trying to get to 6+ properties and you're joining, look, the number they say is 1%. Let's call it even 5%. If we're talking about 5% of investors reach the upper echelon of property investing, you are in uncommon territory. That means there's a handful of people that actually understand what challenges you're facing and their heart's not going to bleed for you. Yeah. I would have had Nathan Birch on, and this is something, again, I'm privy to so many conversations with some great people that have come on the podcast previously. He calls it new levels is new devils. So when you're breaking through, for example, when you get that, the problems that you face at having a 6 property portfolio versus what you had in the first one, they're very different. And I think it's accepting and acknowledge that as your portfolio grows, as the stakes get higher, there is challenges that come with more properties, with more tenants, with having a larger team that you now got to manage as well. And when things go bad, how will you cope? And you'll only really find that when you're faced with challenges that come to you. You can do all the work, you can have all the mental work done, but the reality is going to come to you when 3 tenants want to leave at the same time. How do you just handle that and go, right, this is life, I've got to accept it and move on, and how quickly can I get new tenants in there, as one example. Point number 5, it's shifting your focus from a scarcity to an abundance mindset. Again, I'm going to call in the book Mindset, kind of captures it in here perfectly. And it's the essence here is, what do you focus on more? What you have or what you don't have? What can go wrong versus what can go right? I literally just touched on this in my last point as well. We can spend a lot of time focusing on what's going to go wrong. I think that's great. I think it's great risk management. I think it's great risk mitigation. But if you're stuck there and you can't take action to move over to the other side, going, you can't get past all the things that can go wrong, you've really got to wonder if property investing is right for you from a risk management and a risk profile perspective as well. I think a good gentle reminder as well is, if you're fortunate to buy investment properties in Australia, there's got to be some sense of gratitude. My mum calls it an attitude of gratitude. And I grew up with this type of mantra in our house as well. The problems that you have are champagne problems. The fact that we're living in Australia, in one of the best countries in the world, yes, we have a high cost of living, but we also have a very high standard of living. Just think about it. People are willing to risk their lives on boats to come to this country. People will do anything they can to get to this country. And given when we look around the world, with some of this unrest that's happening internationally, you've got to understand we're so fortunate to be calling Australia home. And if you're in an even more fortunate position to buy properties, I'm saying multiple properties in this country, that means you've got a good income. That means the bank's willing to lend you money. That means you're able to buy properties, for example. That means you're able to get a loan. Just if you reflect on it from that perspective, you will realize that you are in a very, very fortunate position, and the problems that you have are probably going to be champagne problems. Yeah. Am I going to be able to get my equity out, for example, to go and buy another property? Okay, I've got to get independent legal advice. That means I'm able to go see a solicitor. And I think when we use the word we get to, right, as opposed to I have to go see a solicitor. It's like, hey, I get to go see a solicitor. We literally went and saw a solicitor yesterday, signed some loan documents. And it's not lost on me. The fact that a few years ago, this is what I was gunning for. This is what I was hoping for. And as it's happening, I'm trying to enjoy that moment to go, yeah, there's a little bit more debt that's coming my way. But the only way I'm actually going to grow my portfolio, the only way I'm going to change my wealth position for my family is taking on more debt. And I do get the ability to take on more debt because I've got the income to support it. And when you kind of start connecting these dots, you will start to realize that if you have an attitude of gratitude, you're going to start to attract more opportunities that come your way. I think as part of this mindset is a real belief that for you to win in property investing doesn't come at a loss for others. And I think a lot of the media do a disservice. That is when you have investor stories, it feels like because they've been able to buy, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 investment properties, it's now come at the cost of other Australians being able to get into the market. Well, if you have 20, 30, 40 investment properties and you're a really good landlord, that means you've got all these people that can live in those properties and you're providing housing and accommodation to so many families that need to rent for whatever reason. They might be rent vesting, for example, or they might be needing those school. I know we've got clients that move across the country for work opportunities as well, and they have to rent. They don't want to buy in those areas because they're not going to be there for that long. And so when you think about that, it's a real blessed role to be a landlord in this country, and that it's not a win-lose outcome. It can be win-win. The media's voice will drown this out, and you see all the comments on any of these Daily Mail articles or telly articles or Facebook articles. When someone's grown a portfolio, it's easy to shoot them down as opposed to go, hey, we can champion this person because they're giving back. And I think if you do it in the right way, there is a good way to be a generous landlord. That not that you're giving under market rent, but you may be, hey, look, I can fix that dishwasher for this person. I can fix the blinds. I can repair this hot water issue, for example, as well. So if you have a good heart as an investor and you take care of your tenants, you will get that good karma coming back to you as well. Point 6, action takers versus big talkers. As a broker, like I said, I probably got the best seat in the house where there's people that come back to me 3, 4, 5 years later. They came to me with a gusto. I want to do this. I want to buy. They've gone quiet. And they come back years later going, I wish I got in years ago. Yeah, you could have. I showed you your loan strategy. You could have got in years ago. You just chose not to. And I can't sell you a loan. I literally cannot sell you a loan. You need a property for the loan to facilitate the purchase on. And that's why I say it's the best seat in the house, because I can't force someone to take out a loan or a mortgage. You've got to have a property there. And I constantly now will call this out going, are we actually going to do something here? Or is this just you scratching an itch to see if this is an exercise of you trying to get into the market? There is a large cohort of Australians that love to say they're in the property market, that if the right property came and fell on their lap tomorrow, they still wouldn't sign the contract. They just love talking about that they're trying to find a property, but they will never buy. Whereas I've got clients that are action takers. And like I've said so many times, the property market rewards action takers. And this might be an uppercut for some people. This might be a low blow. But if you're offended by it, I can't apologize, because I'm talking to people that want to take action, that want to improve their life. And in order to do that, you need to be a decision maker. I was recently having a chat on Davey Hamilton's Everything Property podcast, and one of the big pullouts that he mentioned there was show me your bank. I said was show me your bank account and your diary, and I'll show you your priorities. And this can go across a life in general. If you say that you want to get healthy, okay, cool. Show me your diary where you put in your gym sessions. Show me your bank account where you're trying to eat healthier, for example, or not go out and eat home cooked meals. If you're trying to grow your business, okay, show me your diary where you're spending time working on your business plan, or you're trying to work on your social media strategy or your content or your business processes, for example. And then show me your bank account where you're investing back into your business. If you're trying to get into the property market, show me your diary where you're meeting with your broker, you're meeting with your accountant, you're meeting with your financial planner, you're meeting with your buyer's agent, for example, and your bank account is reflecting either you reining in spending or investing into your partners as well. And I'll leave that there. Number 7, the power of consistency and resilience. Yeah, you can rush out and go and buy a few investment properties as well, and you may be capped. Whereas we've got investors that, okay, yeah, I'm going to buy this. I know what's next, for example, and there's a level of consistency that comes with a rhythm of buying investment properties. Now, it sounds, when you think about it, it sounds almost ridiculous that there's a rhythm of buying properties, but there actually is. With the right loan strategy and the right order and stacking the properties in the right way, a thought out game plan, you should be and could be buying properties on a fairly consistent basis. Okay. Let me just tell you about the power of consistency in a statistic. 90% of podcasters quit before episode 3. Then off the back of that, so the 10% that remain, 90% will quit by episode 20. I'm looking at Rach, we're probably at what, 200 plus? 202, Rach is telling me. 202. You can't, I won't give up. I won't quit. There was probably episodes at the very start when no one was listening, probably my mum, and my mum still listens. So thanks, Mum. A lot of my friends and family as well. Thanks very much. But the message here is I won't give up. And it's an attitude that I want, if you're listening, it's an attitude I want you to have. Resilience is the ability, like I said, to get punched, get knocked down, get back up again. If I look at a really good example, my little brother Sean, I would have mentioned, he's been on the podcast as well. His restaurant, #1 Googled restaurant in Australia for 3 months straight, and then COVID hits. It's not a reason for him to throw his toys out the cot and get mad at COVID. Instead, he pivots and finds a way to then for his kitchen to deliver meals to people that are locked down. People have no food in the midst and height of COVID. Okay, so you may get lemons, but then you can choose to make lemonade with it. And I feel like that's a good kind of definition on resilience and ability to get knocked down but get back up again. And there are going to be things that knock you down in this journey and just can't sugarcoat it. Okay, but success is the long game, and you've got to be able to play the long game. You've got to be able to maybe have contingencies or buffers in your cash flow that as you grow your portfolio, your cash flow might get skinny or tight. We're doing a lot of clients that maybe they're thinking about family planning, or they're having kids, and kids are damn expensive. I love my girls. Bloody expensive. And I think going in there, knowing that as opposed to being surprised by it, probably gives you peace with the fact that, okay, kids are expensive. I now need to budget for it. And if your income is fixed and you're salaried and you've got effectively a pie chart of net income, then you'll look at income allocation and go, right, we've got $100,000 net income. How much do we need for the mortgage? How much do we need for lifestyle? How much is left over? Yeah. And then where is the savings in that as well? So you need that savings buffer or contingency for what I generally call a sleep at night factor. And when we talk about those podcast stats where people give up after 3 or 20 episodes, the same can always be reflected in investor stats where it'd be like 70% have 1 to 2 properties, for example, and then you get that, they say 1%, 6+ properties. It's a matter of who can hang in there the longest, and that's why I talk about consistency and resilience being point 7. Point 8, who you surround yourself with matters. I'll continue to harp on about ownership and accountability. They're the 2 pillars in my business, in this business. This is the foundations that we've built this business off. And I tell this to my team all the time. It's something that's on our walls. We speak about this a lot in terms of mentality and a mindset. Who are you surrounding yourself with that's actually lifting you up? This is the sole reason that I've put out, and now we've got a name for it. We're calling it the Property Accelerator. The Property Accelerator kicks off. I'm looking at this going the 12th of February. If you want to be part of a community that champions your future, this is the place to be. At the moment, there's no charge. I'm trying it. I'm testing it out. I want people to be on the journey with me as well. Transparently, there's nothing in it. I just want a community of people that want to be on the journey, that want to go to new heights, because there's so many times I'm hearing from people, they just don't have anyone in their friend network that's plugged into investing in property and wants to get 10+ properties. Hey man, if we're going there, I want people to come on the journey with us. I want maybe a lean, mean cohort of Australians, our clients, they're going, I want to go to the moon. Who's coming with us? Okay. So if that's you, and you feel like, hey, look, I need to take some action. I need some people around me that are leveling up their mindset, are leveling up their portfolios, then drop us a private message. Send us a DM, Property Accelerator group, whatever you want to say. Just put your name there. Make sure you got your details so we can get in touch with you. Register for that first initial call. And I'm telling you, there'll be people that, if you watch where they'll get to in 3, 5, 10 years' time, their life will be radically different. I'm saying that because I lived and breathed it. I started out in mortgage broking 9 years ago, and I said I wanted to be part of the top echelon of mortgage brokers, surrounded myself with the right people, got the right advice. And yeah, like I said, no ego here. I'm not surprised that we've got here because I put my mind to it, but I surrounded myself with the right people that would get me there on that journey as well. So I'm imploring you, if you weren't part of this community, get in nice and early. We're going to have some guests come in. We're going to have some fun with it as well. It's going to be interactive, but it's a two-way street. I need people to kind of commit. I need people to bring the energy, and I'll match that halfway, and we'll meet each other, and we'll go to the moon as well. So as part of that circle of influence, there may be people that you lose along the way. And it's an unfortunate part of life. As soon as you've kind of outgrown maybe a circle of friends or outgrown people that are detractors on your mission, I'm not saying cut them off. And that's a really hard thing to reconcile, is like, once you leave the herd, that's it. Like you're moving to greener pastures. But are you playing a small game or are you playing a big game? And I'll let that point linger. Point number 9, discipline, focus, and a growth mindset. To me, success shouldn't be an accident. If you're trying to get to a 10 plus property portfolio, we'll celebrate when we hit it, but it shouldn't surprise you that when you get there, because you've done everything, you've put the building blocks in place, you've laid the foundations, you've got the team, you're finding ways to extract the equity and go again, your lender stacks right there as well. But with the right discipline and focus, success should not be an accident, and it should be celebrated. I've got no doubt, and you should be celebrating your achievements. That's something that I'm learning to do as well. I think it's great when I can celebrate the achievements that when we set our mind to it and we got it, and it's enjoying the journey as well. A great book, again, if you're struggling with this part, Atomic Habits. I'd say hands down one of the best books. I want to reread it this year again. 1% better every day. Just that is in a mindset, 1% better every day. When I'm getting ready in the mornings, coming out of the shower, there's Jim Rohn, a YouTube clip from Jim Rohn playing. My girls are hearing that. If I get back to the point earlier about you can't be what you can't see, that's what my girls are seeing daily. They're hearing that daily. It might be the old Tony Robbins tapes, parents put that in the car. I know my mum would have some awesome tapes when we'd jump in the car with her as well. And it was like, that's something that's got ingrained to us. Like those type of messages at the time, as a 10-year-old, it may not sink in, but it's consistency in those messages that you can do whatever you set your mind to. Don't take no for an answer as well. That's what discipline is. Hey, it's like, hey, do the hard things, for example. Mentally, battle scars and wounds will make you stronger as well. But Atomic Habits, I'd say, is a great book to get you on that journey. So the last point here, it's back to you. So point 10 is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the information that we've spoken about today? Listening to a podcast is only as good as the execution and implementation and what you're going to take out of this. So to me, if you're part of a relationship, maybe it's a chance where you both have a chat about this. You both listen to it and go, hey, what did you take out of that, for example? What are your insights and what are we going to do that's going to move the needle in our own financial future? If it's yourself on your own, single, that's great. Maybe share it with a friend and go, hey, mate, I want you to listen to this. I want to get your thoughts. Grab a cup of coffee together. What do you think? Yeah. And if this podcast has just been a conduit for some type of conversation or change in life, I'm telling you right now, one person, mission accomplished. I'm not selling myself short by saying just one person, because I can tell you right now, there are so many people that are reaching out the back of our podcast. It blows me away. It literally blows me away how many people are reaching out. And when I'm having a chat to you on our initial calls, you've listened to so many episodes, and to me, it's very humbling. It means a lot that people have given up time, which is why I put so much research and diligence into this episode, because I'm saying if you invest in yourself, you will get better returns than investing in property. Let's understand this. You are your best income producing asset. People go and take car loans at 9, 10, 12% on a depreciating liability. That blows my mind. People getting car loans for depreciating liabilities blows my mind, but people will not take a loan out to go and do self-development when that will give you a positive return on investment. People complain about investment interest rates on income producing assets that will increase in value, that gives them cash flow, but will not question when they see a car loan rate that is much higher than an investment loan. Just let that sink in, because it shows a lot about your priorities. Would you spend $130 detailing your car? Would you spend $130 getting yourself a day spa and investing back into your own health and wealth? I call it wealth being. It's the combination of your well-being and your health and wealth. Okay. So if I kind of look at that mishmash of, are you focusing on your wealth, your health, and your well-being? It's what I call wealth being. I'll leave that at least hanging here just for you to ponder on. I'd love your comments. If this is an episode that you've resonated with, if this has helped move the needle in your own personal life, your mindset, and the ability to invest in the number one hotspot in Australia, which is the real estate between your ears, I'm going to say mission accomplished for me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love for you to join our Property Accelerator group as well. See you on the other side. Thanks very much for joining us.